coming back and visiting with us on New Bits with Vac and Vinnie. We are so glad you're here.
Yeah.
We hope you had a Merry Christmas, a Happy Kwanzaa, a Happy Hanukkah, what's the Islam one?
There's got to be something else out there. I don't know. Yeah. I lose track of the holidays now.
Yeah. Listen,
so many.
We hope that whatever holiday you celebrate or don't celebrate, you had a bright one. And I only celebrate one, so if I missed yours, I apologize.
Don't worry about it.
I ain't worried about it. It's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. We're late putting this one out again, but hey, once again, two comedians, two crazy schedules. What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
We're working.
This is our last episode of 2023. We'll see you in 2024, ladies and gentlemen.
See you next year.
See you next year. We'll see you in 2024. We did 18 episodes in 5 months, Vac. That's not
bad. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. We're going to aim higher for 2024.
Yeah.
Right?
We're both busy, man. You know, we're busy dudes. We got naps to take.
Yeah, we're busy dudes. We got stuff to do.
Stuff going on.
We got naps to take. Very important. Very important. Yeah.
Very important.
I want to say one thing about the drinking episode, Vac. We got an email. We got an email about the drinking episode, and coincidentally, my brother said the exact same thing. So I'm just going to address it since it was such a coincidence. My brother goes, "What were you drinking? Lemonade?" It looked like you were drinking lemonade because I had like the tall glass with ice in it. Yeah. It was scotch and soda on the rocks. I don't have a rocks glass, so I put it in a tumbler. That's what it was.
You made do.
Thank you for your email. Yeah, I made do. It wasn't lemonade. It was scotch. I was drinking with Vac that night.
That's right.
Yeah. So we got a great show for you. We're going to do a bit update. Last week I was in Huntsville, Alabama. I did the evil hotel owners bit again. And I got a recording here. It's an audio recording this time. There is no place to put a camera in that club when it's full. So I didn't bring my camera this time to Huntsville. And when I got there, the show was less than half full. So I could have put a camera in the back at a back table. But, that just goes to show you, don't assume nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Don't assume nothing in comedy.
Sometimes we don't know what we're getting into until we get there.
Exactly. So let's check this out, Vac, and then I got some notes here, and I got some excuses that I'll. I mean, for those who have been listening to this podcast for a while, one of the things that Vac and I say is it doesn't always come out right the first time. Sometimes it doesn't come out right the second time. Sometimes these jokes have to be shaped and molded. For example, Vac, I do a bit about eating dinner with a group of my Italian friends. And I order the manicotti, and they start freaking out, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, hey, it's not manicotti, it's monagle, and all this. And I'm not going to do the bit. But the first time I did that bit on stage, Vac, it died.
Oh.
It died. And I kept on saying to myself, this is funny. I know this is funny. And I just kept doing it until I found it. And I think this is going to be one of those bits.
Okay.
This evil hotel owners thing. So let's check it out. You want to listen?
Yeah, let's give it a listen.
For those of you watching on YouTube or Spotify, you're going to be treated to our logo while this is going on. For those of you listening, it's just going to sound like a normal podcast. All right, let's give it a shot. They also put you up in a great hotel. That's awesome. That's really cool because that doesn't happen a lot. Some of these hotels,
kind of questionable. You should have seen the one last week. I'm convinced that the owners of this hotel are evil. Sadistic, evil, demented human beings that should be in jail for the rest of their lives for crimes against humanity. Yeah, check it out. Not a bad room, not too big, not too small, relatively clean. If you don't mind toenail clippings on the nightstand, you know. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You know, that was kind of tough, you know. One contact lens on the other nightstand. That confused me. Don't you know when you don't have a contact lens in? Yeah? This guy walking around like this, bumping into stuff, going, what's wrong? Or was a pirate staying in the room? He opened up a new pack. He goes, I won't be needing this one. I'll be leaving it for the next guest. No? Pair of underwear underneath the TV stand. You guys are reacting the wrong way to this stuff. That was rough. Underwear underneath the TV stand. That bothered me, man. Yeah, called down to the front desk. I'm like, hey, can you move me? I'm sorry, we're booked. Great. But give us a call if you need any toiletry items you may have forgotten. Yeah, do you got a barrel of hand sanitizer and a hazmat suit? How am I going to stay here tonight? I don't know if you've ever spent any time in a hotel room where a stranger's underwear was underneath the TV stand. It's kind of a tough proposition. Kept on waking up in the middle of the night to make sure it was still there. Felt like the little boy with the clown at the end of his bed in Poltergeist, you know? That's a tough one to get if you've never seen Poltergeist, okay? But all of that I can forgive, ladies and gentlemen. All of that I can forgive. I'll just chalk it up to human error. What convinced me that the people in this hotel who owned it were evil? And I'm not just being facetious. I mean really evil. I mean someone accidentally summoned a demon from the abyss, and this thing bought a hotel. Evil. Here's what convinced me that they're evil. "15 channels on the TV. I didn't say 50. Look at you guys, you're looking at me like that's okay. 15 channels, ladies and gentlemen.
We're from Alabama where there's 3.
There's only 3 here? Well, don't do this bit in Huntsville. Come on, you guys got cable. Is this really the wrong audience for this, Joe? You guys 15, holy cow, that's awesome.
Hasn't made it here from Georgia.
Hasn't made it from Georgia. That's going in the show. You guys are great, man. What do you need me for? No. 15 channels. 3 of them were sports channels. Ladies and gentlemen, I love sports, okay? But I don't need 3 sports channels if you're only going to give me 15. I got 3 news channels. Got 2 weather channels. Who needs 2 weather channels? 2 weather channels. I got the hotel information channel. This wasn't the Bellagio in Las Vegas, Nevada. This was a Motel 6 in New Bern, North Carolina. I don't need a 24-hour looping video about the pool and the continental breakfast at participating locations. And then Lifetime just to kick me in the teeth. What, did my wife book this room? Still not convinced they're evil? Still not convinced? This will do it for you. Here it is, right there, at the center of the coffee table. Right there, center of the coffee table, right there. The current issue of TV Guide. That was deliberate, ladies and gentlemen. Do you understand the kind of diabolical mind it takes to conjure up such a medieval torture device like that? I knew what was going on every channel in America.
You just couldn't get them.
Couldn't get them. That's torture. Ladies and gentlemen, look. When I come to your city, I don't sightsee. Okay? And it's not because I don't love your city. I do. I love your city. It's because I have 3 kids, okay? When I come to your city, I want to sit in a dark room and watch my shows. You give me 15 channels, you're my enemy, okay? Then you put a TV guide in the room, you're evil. It's like going to Ruth Chris Steakhouse. Everybody around you is eating $200 steaks, and they hand you a menu from Burger King. Okay. This is for you. Have it your way.
All right, there it is.
All right.
Hey, it's out there.
Can't take it back now.
Can't take it back now. It's out there. There's a couple things like I want to say about that. I wasn't displeased with that. I wasn't overjoyed with it. I felt good when I got off the stage. Like I said, it was half full. I went up cold. It was just a 2-man show. I was opening up for a comedian. It was. I have to find it. I'm gonna have to keep working it. Have to keep working it. Yeah.
It's so difficult, Vinny. Sometimes when you can have a show in one venue, and it's great, and 4 days later you're somewhere else. You're like, what's going on here? Half full. It could still go great, but it won't sound the same because it's half full or half empty, however you want to look at it. But I noticed this crowd seemed to be very chatty with you, talkative with you.
Yes. They wanted me to interact with them. You noticed how when I went to them, I got the bigger responses. Yeah, when I went to them, I got the bigger responses. I run into that sometimes. Sometimes the crowd just wants you to talk to them, and I got to be honest. I'm a little selfish. I just want to do my show.
Yeah. Okay.
I
think this could be a topic of conversation for us to do. Maybe I don't know tonight or another episode. But I think
about going to the crowd.
They want you to make fun of the guy in the front row. They want you to pick on the lady in the back who spilled her drink. They'd rather see that than really good material sometimes.
Yes.
And I don't know if that's a recent thing or what, but I was always brought up, do material.
Yeah, me too. And I take a lot of pride in some of this stuff that I come up with. So when I get to a comedy club, I'm like, oh man, I want them to hear this, So even like at the situation in Huntsville where I knew they wanted me to talk to them. And I did after that bit. But once I started it, man, I wanted to finish it,
Yeah.
So sometimes I'm just, I'm a little too selfish. I just want to
do your job, really.
Yeah, exactly. So here's some notes about the performance. Some things about the performance.
So I took some notes too.
Yeah, there was a couple of stumbles, and as you and I have said before in the past, when language is so important, when you stumble, it could literally kill a joke. And I stumbled. One of the first things I said, you should have seen the hotel last week. It ruined it, even though there wasn't even a laugh there. Yeah. It just, people dwell on it. You know what I'm saying? Whoa, it's like you go from driving down a highway, it's nice and smooth, and then boom, you're on a bumpy road. That's what it feels like.
I wonder sometimes if what you're saying is absolutely true, if it kind of throws them for a minute, or are we overthinking it? Like I have 2 sayings in comedy. One is never underestimate your audience, and the other one is never overestimate your audience. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't know the crowd is different, but I think if you just get through it kind of like you did and just go last week, all right, they're with you. I get your point about stumbling. You don't want to stumble.
See, you're right. You're absolutely right. I may be way overthinking of that because I'm so very critical of myself. Yeah. So that's nothing, whatever. Or maybe it's something, or maybe it is nothing, but hey, it made the notes.
Yeah.
The other thing the other thing I wrote down was I got to get the list of the evil down, like the evil, demented, sick, twisted, blah, 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 blah. It's got to come out better. Regardless of stumbling or not, that is something that has to be down. And still on the subject of language, how I introduced the main part of the bit was horrible, absolutely horrible. I said, what convinced me that the people in this hotel who owned it were evil? That's so clunky.
Okay.
What convinced me that the people who owned this hotel were evil was blank. That's literally how that should have went. See, that's why that brings up an argument of the pros and cons of memorization versus finding it on stage. You know, you can memorize something and have it so down in your head, then you do it and it looks like a speech. But you got it down. So that's the pros. But versus finding it on stage where it just flows and it feels natural, but it might bump a little bit, and stumble a little bit,
I'm always a believer in trying to have as much of it memorized as possible so that when you're on stage, it's just simple.
Yeah.
It's like saying your name.
Yeah.
And a bit like this, when you say the room last week, it's got to sound like you're telling your friends at a party, dude, you wouldn't believe this room.
So true.
Like you want to make it seem like maybe you're thinking of stuff, but you've got to have it down. But you don't want it to seem like, I got to think. What was it?
Yeah.
What was it again? What comes next? The fingernails on the table or you just want it to be like you're walking into the room like for the first time and going, the hell is this?
Yeah.
Fingernails on the table, underwear under the sink. I mean, what?
So true. And believe it or not, that's what I wrote right here. The whole thing, beginning to end, Vac, I wrote down, it needs more act outs. I need to be really disgusted with this room. I got, I really, it has to be me telling my buddies a story, just like you said.
Yeah. It's like you're holding a beer going, guys, you're not going to believe this room I was in last night. It's disgusting. These people had to be evil.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Okay. Did we talk? I'm trying to find my notes. I know they're in here. My notes about when we first talked about this bit. Did I ever say, because it just came to me as we're listening to it, I don't know if it's something that just came to me now or we talked about it before, but I kept thinking that this hotel room, sounds like it was an episode of Forensics Files. If somebody committed a murder in that room, they'd never know who the killer was. There was so much DNA all over the place. There were hair follicles, fingernails everywhere, dirty underwear. I mean, there'd be at least 10 killers in that room.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm getting off base with it, but
no, that's a great visual, and I had completely forgotten about that.
Did we talk about that?
And see, it sounds very familiar to me.
All right. I'm trying to find my notes. But
yeah.
I don't. Anyway, whatever. I just think to me, it's like I just picture like when you watch any of those shows, them coming in with the big cameras. They got the gloves. They put that yellow card with the number next to it. Evidence number 4. Snap. That's what I'm picturing in my mind. Is that kind of a thing? A Forensics Files. I'm sorry, I can't find the notes. But a Forensics Files thing.
It's a great visual, and it could be one line. This room was like an episode of Forensic Files. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, because everybody's seen that show or some show like it, where they walk in and it's just the room, the place is a train wreck. Yeah,
a crime scene from Forensic Files. The other thing I wrote down, these are just little things that I think can improve the bit. The two weather stations, which I think is hilarious. I'm in a room with 15 channels. I got two weather stations. I think I got to elaborate on that just a little bit more. Just why it's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in. It's raining. The other station is what? Like, hey, it's pouring. I don't know. What do they use? Different language? What's the difference? What's the difference? How do they compete with each other? Anyway, I think maybe a couple of lines about, which would suggest that I watched both channels for at least a little bit,
Who had the hottest chick?
Oh, right. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, I did this bit again because it was a 2-night. It was a weekend. It was a Friday, Saturday. I did this bit the next night. What I forgot Friday night, the night that I recorded, was QVC.
Oh,
I did a QVC channel. Yeah, QVC in case I wanted to buy a duvet or a set of Hummels.
Oh, that's funny.
And then Lifetime just to kick me in the feet.
I like that. I like that. Yeah.
And that's it.
All right. Okay, so two things I wanted to ask you. Did you say, did I hear it right? Did you say, did my wife book this room?
Yes. Yeah, that's your
I don't
line.
think we talked about that. I don't remember talking. That was very funny.
That's your line.
That was my line?
It's great. But my wife booked this room. That's your line.
I said, dude, okay. I thought it was very funny. Figures it was my line. All right.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about the TV guide, I mean, do you think is it going to get too busy because you're talking about how you could see what's on TV everywhere? Like, what if you were to list some shows, just like, oh, dude, American Gladiators rerun? Oh, I don't have channel 117.
Right, yeah.
I don't know, but what if you just list?
Yeah.
I could see you thumbing.
Dude, I like that. I don't have channel 117.
Yeah, I don't have channel 742.
I like that. Here's immediately where I went. American Gladiators on channel 142. I don't have 142. I don't even have 16. I don't have channel 16.
I don't have 16. Yeah.
I don't even have channel 16. So you can be like, I could be a pause. It's like, American Gladiators on channel 142. I don't have channel 142. I don't even have channel 16.
I don't have channel 16. Ladies and gentlemen.
Because 15 channels. Yeah.
Okay.
That's funny. Yeah.
Vinny, the thing with these bits that you do, like the Bad Hotel and what was the other one that we did? You really put these are like long bits. These aren't quick 1 line, 2 line, maybe a 3. You're doing like bits. You're like telling a story, and it's a lot to remember when you're up there. Yeah. It's just a lot. So I think the more you do it and the more you get comfortable with it, the better you get with it. And then you might find that there's some fat there you can trim, But, I mean,
for sure.
It's not going to be, no matter what, it's not going to be perfect the first time out. It's just not.
No. So few bits that I do come out perfect the first time.
Right.
And I can think of like a handful in my head, off the top of my head, that came out perfect the first time and stayed perfect. And it doesn't happen very often for me. And this is one of those bits,
very rarely.
Yeah. And this is one of those bits that I know it's funny. I feel it's funny.
Yeah.
I can feel the audience reacting to it, even though at moments, they were quiet. But like you and I, or like you have said, it was a crowd that wanted interaction. That wasn't so much. So there's going to be a problem there. But I'm going to keep doing it, and I am going to work this into a very killer bit. And I guarantee you, the next time we see it, it's going to kill. It's going to be great.
Yeah,
really good.
It's one of those things.
It's like one of those bits I can feel.
It's like memorizing lines for an audition. you got to get, to me, you just got to get those lines down, because I always feel like within structure, there's freedom. So when you have it down, these are my lines, and there's nothing to worry about. It's like saying your name, and they're down so pat. Within that, you become Vinny. Tell him. Do you know what I'm saying? You're not a guy trying to remember what to say 100%. Next.
Right.
You know what I mean?
100%.
It's like if you were telling your wife that story, or a bunch of friends, even if you were just a comic, you're not even doing it as a bit, just going, "Oh my God, this hotel last night. I walked in, I felt like it was an episode of the Forensics Files. There was actually somebody there taking pictures. I mean, like making it ridiculous. You know what I mean? There was a guy with gloves actually taking pictures of my room. He's like, "I'll be right out of here, sir." There were fingernails on the nightstand, underwear under the dresser. What was it? I pulled back the sheet. There was actually a dead body. There was actually a dead body in the bed. I mean, make it like extreme, Yeah. I found hair follicles. I went to wipe the hair. There was actually a dead body in the bed. Sir, you got to come back. Did you get a picture of this? Yeah, that's from last week. You left. I mean, like, make it as absurd as possible.
Yeah. Absurd as possible. Yeah. It's great.
All right.
Yeah. Vac, there's and I mentioned this before, there's a part of me that doesn't like the fact that an imperfect performance is out there. But when you and I talked about this podcast, this is what we promised we'd show people.
Yeah.
So, fly or die, good or bad, this is what happens in this business. It doesn't always come out right the first time. It doesn't come always out right the second time. But I promise you this, for all of you who are listening to this podcast, and Vac will back me up on this, the next time you hear this bit, it's going to be killer. I just know it. And I have a chance this weekend to record the I Hate My Son bit again. So we're probably going to get another look at that.
All right.
So,
All right, cool.
Did you have anything you wanted to work on, Vac?
No, man, this was good. This is a good review. We promised that we would be honest, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And hey, this is our last episode of 2023, and we just want to thank everybody for listening. We want to thank our listeners in Australia and Germany. Holy cow, that means so much.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah. And we love that you're listening, but please, if you haven't subscribe to the podcast. That really helps our visibility. And even more so, please write a review. And we'll read them.
And we take suggestions too. We're not above taking suggestions. If you have ideas for bits, lay them on us.
And if you got those ideas, just email us, newbitspodcast@gmail.com. 2023 was an awesome year for the New Bits podcast, I think, Vac. It was a great time doing this. I look forward to doing more in 2024.
Me too, Vinny.
Have a happy New Year, my brother.
Happy New Year to you. I'll be flying.
Oh, you'll be flying on New Year's?
I'm flying home on New Year's Eve, and on New Year's Day, I'm flying out. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, man. You see, this is why it's so hard, ladies and gentlemen, to coordinate these schedules.
Yeah.
All right. Well, fly safe, my brother.
Bye, buddy. Happy New Year.
I'm in Hickory, North Carolina, performing at the Hickory Community Theater on New Year's Eve. And I'm going to see if I can get a recording then.
Oh, nice.
Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you in 2024. Vac, I'll see you online, my brother.
Okay, buddy. Happy New Year, everybody.